Tyler here with TalkAndroid. We're going to take a quick look at the Samsung Intercept, available from Sprint. This is a mid-range Android device. Run you about $99 with a new 2-year contract after a mail-in rebate. Has Android 2.1. It has a slide-out QWERTY keyboard. So yeah, let's take a quick look at some of the features on the outside before we turn it on. So this is it right here. Has a 3.2-inch display, which you'll see a little bit when we actually turn it on. On the side here, got the little volume rocker up and down, pretty standard. Right here, this is the port for the micro SD card. It's kind of nice this is on the outside actually, because I don't know about you, but I kind of hate having to take it off the back every time I want to get to the SD card, so that's kind of nice. At the top here, you got your mini USB port. I don't really know how I feel about it being covered. I suppose it's kind of nice so you can make sure that nothing gets inside. On the side here, you got your standard 3.5mm headphone jack, and then right here is a dedicated camera button right here. And then on the back, have the camera up here. There's no flash on this, unfortunately. It's just a 3.2 megapixel camera. And then on the bottom here is the speaker. So on the bottom here, you have your kind of standard more, home, back, and search. And then this is a call button, and this is kind of the power and button. These buttons down here feel pretty nice, actually. I'm pretty impressed with the way these are built. They have a nice kind of raised quality to them, and they don't feel too cheap, so that's kind of a nice. This kind of select button here is a little loose. But other than that, I do kind of like the way this is raised. It gives it a little bit more of a sleek feel. Alright, so let's just take a look at the keyboard really quick before we power this on. The keys themselves are pretty nice. They have a nice feel to them. My problem with this keyboard is just the overall layout. Instead of having 5 rows of keys like you normally see on a QWERTY keyboard like the Epic 4G, it only has 4. So that means that the space bar is stuck right in between the V and the B, which it takes a bit of getting used to. I'm always down here accidentally pressing space when I'm looking for one of these two characters. And also the function key up here is in the top left instead of being at the bottom. Now, this may not seem like a big deal, but it actually becomes a little more difficult to do function in some of these, whereas if this was all the way down here, you wouldn't really have too much of a problem with that. So it's just minor preference, I think. So typing on this takes a little bit of getting used to. So take it or leave it. I still like the feel of the keys, but yeah, this down here and this up here just doesn't really work for me, but that's just my preference. Alright, so this is powered on here. This is the lock screen you have to slide up. It's a little unresponsive sometimes. Again, kind of the downfall of the CPU. So this is the home screen here. This uses Samsung's TouchWiz 3.0, so it's a custom UI. So you have your application slider, so you slide this up and it takes you to your list of applications. And then here are your home screens. You have 3 by default. I didn't really add much on the other pages here. Just on this page, I have some of the 3 Sprint custom little software things we'll look at in a second. So yeah, pretty standard. The display, you can tell that the pixel resolution on this is a little bit lower than standard. It's 240 by 400, I believe. So if you hold it up close, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but you can definitely see a little bit of pixelation. It's not a terrible display. If you toggle the brightness here, it definitely gets a lot brighter. I tend to like to keep it around the middle. So let's take a look at a little bit of the Sprint software on this, because other than that, this is a pretty standard Android 2.1 device. There's not a whole lot different about this than any other phone. So let's just take a quick look at something here. Let me turn off Wi-Fi because it's going to ask me to do that. So Sprint TV, this is actually a pretty cool application. I was playing with this a little bit yesterday. So basically, it lets you stream full episodes of TV shows from some of their partner networks. So once this fires up, we'll take a look. We're in TV here, so let's just pop open something just to give you a demonstration. I'm going to use The Daily Show just as an example. I was watching this a little bit yesterday, and it comes through pretty good. Let's navigate to a random episode here. There we go. For some reason, you cannot watch this with Wi-Fi turned on. They only want you watching it across their data network, I guess, maybe so they can control that it's just going through Sprint. Let me toggle this volume a little bit here. So as you can see, even though I'm running this on the 3G, this actually started up pretty quickly. And there's pretty much no lag when watching it, and the quality is pretty good. It doesn't quite go full screen. You see these two little bars here, so it's kind of just a standard def ratio. But yeah, the quality pretty good. If I was just sitting on a bus or a train, I would definitely not think twice about popping this open and just watching an episode of one of my favorite shows. Yeah, so you can see quality's pretty good. Streaming is pretty nice. Okay, so let me just turn down this resolution a little bit, or the brightness, so you can see the screen a little bit better. It's kind of bright. So two of the other things are the Sprint Football, the NFL app. Okay, so this is Sprint Football Live. So basically you get a little list of buttons here that do a couple different things. You can go to scores and schedules, for example, and you can just keep tabs on all the different scores. A little hard to see, but you can see all the different scores from yesterday, so it displays that pretty nicely. There's also standings, statistics. You can connect to Twitter. And then there's a whole fantasy section on here. I don't do fantasy football, so I don't really have anything signed up for that. So if you like, if you're a football fan and you're on Sprint, this is actually a cool little app. It kind of brings you some stuff that you wouldn't find just on standard NFL.com. There's some nice little extras here, so this is a cool little app. And then the final Sprint kind of unique app is this NASCAR app. Now, I'm not really a NASCAR fan myself, but if you are, there's actually some pretty in-depth stuff on here. There's a radio station that you can listen to whatever race is going on, race recap, stats, video, so pretty similar to the NFL app. Let's take a look at the video really quick and just check the quality and see how that goes. It seems a lot quicker than the TV or the NFL app. It seems a little more responsive. So let's just see how this video plays. Okay. Alright, so we've looked at the Sprint app, so let's just take a quick look at Angry Birds and see how that runs. Alright, so let's see how it plays. Just gonna kind of... So, as you can see, it's pretty responsive. It's definitely playable. There are definitely some times when it lags a little bit. But for the most part, it's fairly responsive. So, as you can see, a little bit of lag. But, again, definitely playable. So, it's pretty nice to see that you can play popular games such as Angry Birds on here now. I wouldn't be able to play more graphically intensive games like Nova, for example. But for a game like Angry Birds, it works just fine. So that's a nice little feature to keep in mind, that you can actually play some of the more popular games out there. So yeah, that's Angry Birds, and that's the Samsung Intercept. I hope you enjoyed.